Welcome to this week's 2 Minute Tuesday. It's great to see you all, and as always, thank you for taking the time to watch. This week we're looking into the saddening but necessary topic of statistics. Let's roll the intro. Now, whilst I say statistics, it's important to remember that all of these numbers are somebody's relative. Somebody's son or daughter, somebody's grandchild, maybe a sibling, maybe a parent. Each one of these numbers represents a heartbreaking loss and a hole in somebody's life. The reason we're talking about them today is to continue to raise awareness of how much work we still have to do to drive down fire-related fatalities, and that there's a part for all of us who work in the construction sector to play to ensure standards are upheld. Firstly, we're going to look at the statistics for fire-related fatalities in the UK and how that trend has changed over time. We can see by looking at this graph that the numbers have been trending down. However, we have the tragic spike in the 2017-18 numbers due to the Grenfell tragedy. It's encouraging to see that the year-on-year fatalities are trending downwards, but at the same time, let's not kid ourselves. There have been some horrific fires over the last few years which could have had very different outcomes. We need to keep up the work to drive these figures down. The next graph we're going to look at is the cause of fire-related fatalities. In this instance, I'm not talking about what causes the fire, but rather what caused the fatality. We can see from this graph that the leading cause of death in the case of fire-related fatalities is being overcome by smoke and gases, followed closely by burns. But what's also very interesting to note is that a significant proportion of fatalities is also a combination of smoke and burns, leading smoke being a key factor in nearly 50% of all fire-related fatalities. What this reinforces to me is the continuing need to take smoke ventilation seriously. For example, not taking the risk of using non-compliant equipment and ensuring that you seek technical advice when designing any residential scheme. The final graph we're going to look at is how this trend has changed over time. And as we can see, the graph remains fairly consistent over the years, but with a huge increase in unspecified during the 2017-2018, consisting of fatalities resulting from the Grenfell tragedy. I trust this video has highlighted just how important it is that we all continue to work together to make sure less fires happen and to make sure more people survive them. I'd like to finish off by thanking the fire and rescue services for the work that they put in to save lives up and down the country, often in greatly challenging circumstances. Thank you, and I'll see you next week.